What's going on, you guys? This is Luke with Dark Fiction Factory. Today I am going to give you my thoughts on the new American Psycho adaptation, which is rumored to be taking place. In this video, we're going to explore how the filmmakers could make a great new American Psycho adaptation instead of just dogging on it from the get-go, calling it bullshit, calling it garbage before we even know anything about the film, like so many NPCs do on social media. Now, before we get started, if you haven't seen the 2000 film or read the original novel, spoiler alert, spoilers, spoilers. Now, if you watch this channel, you know my love for American Psycho and for author Bret Easton Ellis. I talk about it all the time, maybe a little bit too much. Now, do we really need another adaptation of the book? Probably not. But you know what? Why not? I don't really buy into the idea that a new remake or a new adaptation is going to somehow ruin the original. I mean, look at franchises like Halloween that have 3 timelines at this point, retcon timelines, sequels, remakes, reimaginings, and you know what? The original Halloween film is still a classic. It didn't go anywhere. Now, to be clear, this is supposed to be a new adaptation of the book, not a remake of the 2000 film. That is important, and we'll get into that later in the video. But before we get ahead of ourselves, it isn't even 100% clear that this movie has been greenlit and is actually going forward. The writer of the original novel, Bret Easton Ellis, has gone on record as saying the film is, quote, fake news, and implied that studios may just be testing the waters to see if there is any interest. He also stated that if it is going forward, he is not going to have any creative input at all. This isn't exactly a shock, as Easton Ellis wasn't very keen on the original film either. Back in the day, he stated, quote, American Psycho was a book I didn't think needed to be turned into a movie. So it's really no surprise that he's not super excited about another adaptation. As for the talent involved, the director's name is, oh boy, Luca Guadagnino. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't do enough research on this guy's name, so I'm sorry I butchered that, Luca. While I'm not familiar with this director, and his resume doesn't exactly scream American Psycho, I'm willing to give it a shot. After all, I didn't even know who Mary Harron was in 2000. As for Patrick Bateman himself, I actually think Austin Butler is a great choice if he turns out to be the guy. This guy has shown some great acting chops in films like Elvis and Dune, and he has the look for Patrick Bateman. I think if he dives into this performance and finds a new way to approach it, a new style, he could really make it his own. Look at a character like the Joker, for instance. We've had multiple iconic versions of that character, so I don't see any reason it couldn't be the same way with Patrick Bateman. Now let's get down to one thing that could really set this film apart from the original. Violence, in all caps. Mary Harron's 2000 film had some shocking scenes, but it really shied away from the overly gratuitous, graphic violence found in the novel. It would be hard to reach any semblance of the violence in the book on the screen. I mean, are they willing to show how Patrick was able to take care of 2 of his 6 abortions himself? However, looking at recent box office successes, we do see films like Terrifier doing very well at the box office. Now, Terrifier is a great comparison because the gore in that, it's not tongue-in-cheek, it's not teen slasher goofy kills, it is just brutal, straight up nihilistic, mean-spirited gore. And the fact that that franchise has so much success in mainstream theaters, it shows that there is a thirst for that sort of gratuitous violence in filmgoers today. This is where a new American Psycho adaptation could truly shine and build some word of mouth that this film is actually a little challenging for the casual movie-going audience. There is another reason it is important to note that this film is a new adaptation of the book and not a remake of the film. There is a lot in the book that wasn't covered in the first movie, so they could add a lot of new scenes. For instance, there is a scene in the novel where Bateman low-key murders a child in a zoo and then just kind of brazenly stands around and waits till the cops show up. He shares a frenzied trip to the Hamptons with his girlfriend Evelyn, where he not only decapitates her dog, but he, quote, stands over her with an ice pick every night and puts all sort of weird contraptions on her head while she's passed out on Halcyon. Bateman even attends a U2 concert with the whole crew, where he has a hallucinatory fantasy about Bono on stage. There's even some scenes depicting Patrick Bateman's brother Sean and his mother, who's currently in an old folks home. So that could be very interesting to explore as well, as the Mary Harron film never really mentioned any of his family. There are also characters in the novel that are not even mentioned in the 2000 film. For instance, there is Jeanette in the book, who Bateman seems to be having an ongoing affair with. In the novel, he forces her to have an abortion while he whisks away to Aspen for a trip. One of the things the 2000 film did so well was tie all the different random scenes and characters from the book into one cohesive film plotline. If this new film does the same thing but cherry picks different scenes and different characters that weren't in the previous film, it could really set it apart as a new adaptation. At the end of the day, I'm cautiously optimistic about another adaptation of this film. I just love the film, the book, the story, the characters so much. I just want more and more. You know what? Give me a Netflix series, give me a cartoon, give me a video game. All right, maybe that's getting carried away, but you know, sometimes I think we should just take a step back, and instead of automatically just hating on everything the moment it's announced, maybe we should just be appreciative and grateful that our favorite stories and our favorite characters are still being represented on screen and are still alive and well in pop culture. Anyway, that's about it for this video, guys. What do you guys think about the new American Psycho adaptation? Is it going to happen? Is it not? What could the filmmakers do, in your opinion, that could really make this stand out from the 2000 cult classic? What would you personally like to see them include or exclude from the novel in this adaptation? Leave your thoughts in the comments below and let's discuss it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe. For more content, check out darkfictionfactory.com. Until next time, stay psycho and take care.